Well, the regular season has finally come to a close. People had some big weeks that hopefully will propel them through the playoffs. But before we move on to those matchups, let's see what happened last week. I blew out Koei this week, 8-0. Not only did I prevent his ability to make the playoffs, I actually pushed him behind Ballaholics overall. I had 35 games played and still only had 49 turnovers. Serenity held on to beat Wolf 5-3 and missed 6-2 by only 2 turnovers. Headbuses beat Wolfpack 7-1. Chronic seemed to have been in a tailspin until this week when he was able to beat Speedy 5-3 with a monster week. Poverty rebounded from his loss to Speedy by beating Sam Skills 5-3. Lastly, Knights beat Ballaholics 6-2. And now the trophies. Serenity was a beast this week with 48 blocks, including a whopping 23 from JaVale McGee. I, of course, get a perfect record trophy after my big week against Koei. Now, here are the final power rankings for the regular season. Poverty finished the season where he sat for most of it, in first place. I wind up second. Chronic finished back up in third. Speedy had the best overall record, but was unable to climb higher than fourth. Sam Skills developed too many injuries to close out the season, dropping him to fifth. Serenity stayed in the middle of the pack at sixth. Headbuses was able to end at seventh. Wolf falls to eighth. Koei is ninth. Knights continues his climb to wind up in a tie for 10th with Ballaholics, and then Wolfpack ended up at the bottom. Looking back at this last week and then the overall stats, it was a little surprising to me to see how even most of the playoff-bound teams are in steals. Even Serenity, who's 11th overall in steals, tied for second most steals on the week. How will that shake out in the playoffs? The top 2 overall records lost big in the final week of the season, 3-5. Will Sam be able to recover from the injuries in the playoffs? He plays Wolf, who may or may not be playing, giving him a decent chance to advance. Speedy is the top seed and draws Headbuses. Heavily favored this week, but he may have to watch out. The last 2 years we've seen the top overall record fall. I know, because it was me both years. He's shown that he can play with the big boys by beating Poverty 2 weeks ago, but he's also a human, as evidenced by his loss to Crossovers to close out the season. Poverty has been consistently strong all season, but may need to be overly strong against Crossovers, who showed in the last few weeks that he can easily go off on any given week, as well as not show up at all. Which one will come to the playoffs? And Serenity gets to battle me. I won the regular season matchup both times 5-3, but may need a little bit of luck to win again. I haven't dominated in any week thus far, and being consistently average isn't usually the way to win a championship. I'll be putting a poll up to see who people will think will win it all out of the playoff teams. So take your picks, gentlemen, and I'll see you next week.